Hello, everybody, and welcome to Pthentraken. Pthentraken? I don't know how to pronounce it. A bad PVMer's guide. The name is funny. I honestly don't know how you properly pronounce it, but Pthentraken is the Rex Matriarch of Magic that is weak to ranged. So this is a very minimalist guide to PVMing her and the bare minimum that you need to get by to have an okay time doing this boss. So let's get started. Pthentraken can be seen as kind of like a small step up from God Wars 2 bosses. About the same level of difficulty, really, maybe just a little bit more. So a little fun in that way, in that there's kind of a challenge, and you definitely need to pay attention to her mechanics. But her mechanics are also pretty predictable, and once you learn them, you'll find that you can work around them and actually benefit from a few of them with resonance and such. So for starters, let me walk through my gear. Disclaimer, it's purposely minimalist, like in all my other videos. Part of this is because of my personal budget. However, at this point, I can't afford dual Ascensions, but I am sticking to a Nox bow for this guide with Araxite arrows. This is a mid-high tier boss, so maybe even a mid-tier boss, so I won't go too much into gear. I will say that I am using tier 82 power armor, Elite Robin Hood, as in all my other videos. It's my preferred armor, and the Nox bow. Even with the Nox bow, tier 90, and appropriate overload and prayer, I still miss sometimes, or I still splash, so I do recommend tier 90 ranged weapons before you try this. Maybe the tier 85 ones, like the crossbow or whatever. I honestly haven't tried this with lower tier weapons, and I don't know how to go, but I can tell you right now my kill time with this getup hovers at around 2 minutes or 2.5 minutes, depending on how lucky or unlucky I got the mechanics. Actually, you can see in this run right here that I mess up a fair bit, so even so, it's a pretty fast kill, and I want to show you that just so that I can better show you what to do in case you do mess up. So there's not much else to say, really, as far as gear. Let's just get right into the mechanics. In fact, I'll start with one of my worst runs, just so it'll take longer so I can walk through everything, and so they can see that it's totally doable even if you do mess up a little bit. So, for starters, deflection from magic required at all times during the fight. Pthentraken is the harder hitting of the matriarchs, just like the Dagannoth Kings. The mage one hits hardest, the same is true here, so keep that up the entire time. Her first mechanic is this lightning. She spawns lightning in different places and it all converges on her. Stay out of the lines. You can see the lines when she first spawns them, with little smoke trails on the ground. It's that simple, just avoid the lines. It can get tricky if your positioning is unlucky or bad for whatever reason, but it's not too hard to avoid. That's all there is to it. And this happens after 3 auto attacks into the fight, so it's easy enough to predict. Now, immediately after the lightning lines, she will do 1 magic auto attack and 1 ranged auto attack. That one hits very hard, so for this fight, bring a shield, the best shield you have, and resonance that ranged hit. This will carry you through multiple kills for inventory, because you can heal back a lot of damage, up to about 3,000 or so, actually even more. I recall getting hit for much more than that. Her mechanics do rotate enough that this ranged attack will come again before your resonance is fully up, so for the second attack after your resonance is already used up, you can deal with it how you choose. I don't really recommend Debilitate, as that takes up adrenaline where you could be doing damage instead, or better damage instead. I recommend just switching to protection from range. The devotion perks help with this a lot, but anyways, the damage you take is negligible, because you'll just resonance the next hit anyways. Her next and only other mechanic occurs after this range attack, and it's this, I don't remember the name of it actually, but you'll see a blue bar appear on your character. And once that blue bar runs out, this giant stream of lightning will fall from the sky. You'll want to get out of the way, or else it'll hit you for every tick for a lot of damage. Now, if you wait till the last minute until it comes down and then you move out of the way, you will get hit once, and you will get this overcharge effect. So that has some buffs. I personally don't find them too useful. One of them is that the cooldown of Surge is reduced or eliminated or whatever, but I don't even use Surge in this fight. I don't think it's worth it, so up to you if you want to look into the buffs and get hit by the lightning or whatnot. The only time I ever get hit by the lightning is if I have a Death Swiftness up and I want to not stray too far away from it. But otherwise, it's pretty safe to dodge. And you can see here, for some reason during this fight, I stop paying attention sometimes, so I get hit by the mechanics, especially that lightning from the sky beam. So you'll see it does a bit of damage every tick, 400 or 500, but I believe it does escalate the longer you stand in it, so definitely don't stand in it. Now, immediately after that lightning from the sky comes down, she will do her lightning lines mechanics, so you'll want to make sure that you're in a good place to avoid that as well. And remember, the trickiest part to remember here is not that tricky until you get used to it, but after she does her lightning lines attack, there is one magic auto attack and then the one range attack, so when your resonance is ready, be sure to resonance that. I do have one comment on this regarding a two-handed weapon versus dual wielding. For resonance, when you're dual wielding, you can continue attacking while your shield is up. It's less damage, of course, but it doesn't really interrupt your attack flow. When you're using a Nox bow and you resonance, your character runs up and tries to punch Pthentraken. So it's not ideal. To be honest, in a lot of testing I've done, my kill times are still better with the Nox bow. I honestly can't explain it, so I still prefer that. But if you do have good dual wield range weapons, that is one less thing to worry about when you're resonancing, which you will be doing as often as you can in this fight. Otherwise, that's really it with this fight, guys. The fight is pretty short once you're used to it. Like I said, with my very minimalist setup, it's at about 2 minutes. And by the way, these recordings are purposely done without any auras and any combat familiars. So, like I said, I recommend tier 90 weapons because even with that, I do splash sometimes. I don't know how it goes to tier 80, but you're welcome to try. At most, it'll take you another minute or so, I imagine. So, not too bad. The good thing about Pthentraken is that she has a very easy resonance skill, so that can save you a lot of food. She becomes an easy enough boss, but also challenging at the same time, where you can't just AFK and you do have to pay attention, and there are times where you can panic and take a lot of damage, so she is fun in that way. I hope this very brief guide helped out anybody who is trying to learn this boss, and if you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe. This is a very new channel, so that will help me out a lot, and that'll help me to push out even more guides and even more content. Thanks everybody, catch you in the next one.